You're listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, episode 354. Hey there, you amazing human, and welcome to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, the podcast that is designed for female entrepreneurs who want to make more money in a way that is in alignment for them. If you're looking for practical advice, proven strategies, and expert insights to help you navigate the challenges of growing your business, then you've come to the right place. Welcome, my friend. I am your host, Angela Henderson, a proud Canadian living in beautiful Australia, and I'm a business coach, consultant, and strategist who has helped thousands of women around the world build successful businesses. Through solo episodes and interviews with successful business owners, industry experts, and thought leaders, you'll get insider insights into what it takes to succeed in today's digital age. Whether you're struggling to scale your business, looking for ways to boost your productivity, or seeking ways to overcome the challenges of being an entrepreneur, this show has everything you need to succeed and more. So subscribe, pop your headphones on, and get ready to creating the business and life you deserve today by allowing the Angela Henderson Online Business Show help you create a winning strategy, develop the right mindset, and build lasting wealth. Welcome back, you amazing human. Community. Today we are talking about community, but I believe this word gets thrown around a lot in the business world. Community, blah, blah, blah. It's actually become just a little bit of like, wah. However, I'm here to tell you that community is imperative for business growth. And that's why on the podcast today, I'm going to bring on Cherie from One Roof, because she is like the builder of community. She has over 1,500 women business owners inside of her One Roof community. And she not only has created this amazing community, but she also has leveraged her community to scale her business. And this is something that you might want to consider within your own business model and what this might look like. And she is just a wealth of knowledge, and she is a good human. This episode, it's simple, yet informative. So sit back and get ready for some all levels of awesomeness. Hey, welcome to the show, Cherie.
Hi, Angela. Great to be here.
Yeah, I'm pumped for you to be here today. I mean, we only met late last year, but it feels like we've known each other much longer than like half of a year. And
I know.
Just being in your space and being in your world, again, it lights my heart up. It makes my soul happy because you're good. I mean, I think every person who comes on my podcast is a good human, but there's something about you that is just energetic. There's this connection piece to you. And I love the work that you're doing, specifically around networks and community. And it's just been quite refreshing to be in your space, seeing the approach that you take. So I'm thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you.
I always like to ask a fun question to my guests so that my audience can get to know you a little bit better. So my fun question for you is, I know you love events, I know you love community, but what has been the most memorable event that you've attended over the years?
Ooh, gosh, there's so many, but I would have to say it's probably more top of mind as well. Last year, we actually hosted an anti-pitch. So for the last 6 years, we had run pitch events for women-led female founders, running kind of startups. And last year we decided to completely turn the model on its head because we think pitches are outdated. They're really kind of a masculine way of hosting an event and, showcasing the really innovative startups and businesses out there. So we made it an anti-pitch, which meant that rather than standing up and having 5 minutes and, a timer, and then you're kind of cut off and then you've got these scary questions from judges,
yeah.
We had the finalists sitting on a couch with a judge having a conversation. So it was just a free-flowing conversation, asking questions about the founder, why they started the business. It was really comfortable, really relaxed. And then at the end of that, we actually had the judges come and sit on stage and do their deliberation on the stage so that the audience got an understanding of what the judges talk about when they go into another room and deliberate. So it was really just turning that whole concept on its head, and it was a very successful event.
Oh, goodness. And this is what I mean about it's refreshing to see different approaches, that, there will still be some that will want to do it old school, but this is where innovation comes. This is where inspiration comes from. And specifically as we know, in the business world, it's a predominantly male dominant space. being able to have new ideas that allows that feminine side, because women can be feminine, but we can also be masculine, and that you've been able to create that. It's like, that's what I love about you, is that there's always different ways to look at it. And it's refreshing. So thank you for sharing that. Now, the listeners out there today might not know who you are. So in a simple nutshell, can you tell us a little bit about your business and what you get up to?
Sure. So I'm the founder of OneRoof. OneRoof is a go-to business membership and community for entrepreneurial women. So we support entrepreneurial women to start, grow, and stay in business. We have a purpose-designed all-in-one platform. So as a member, and Angela will know this, she is a member, you get access to this platform, which includes everything from masterclass recordings, expert directory, all our events and meetups. And we have masterclasses every week, networking sessions, coaching calls, discounts. So it's really just bringing together all in one place, a platform, a community, and benefits and resources to support women in building their businesses. I started the business 9 years ago. It has changed a lot in that time. We went through a massive pivot through COVID. And so in the last 3 years, we've been this digital online business. We used to be co-working, and we've onboarded over 1,500 members in the last 3 years. So it's been an amazing journey.
Oh my goodness, it is amazing. And not to mention that it's not just Australian businesses, correct? It's like an international, anyone who, do you know what I mean, fits and loves your energy and wants to, again, because again, we're going to talk about community, be willing to contribute and share, engage. Anyone can access OneRoof, correct?
Absolutely. We've got members in 9 different countries, I believe. And yeah, there's so many different benefits. If you're a service provider, you can be listed as an expert and people can book calls with you. You can watch all of our masterclasses in your own time. You can attend events where you can. And you can really use all the discussion channels and the community to connect with others and get feedback. So it's really, we know that the journey of entrepreneurship can be very lonely and hard, and what you really need. And we also just know that, when women have the right networks and support and resources around them, that we're the catalyst for real global change. And so that's really what OneRoof is all about. And yeah, we have women all around the world in this community.
Dude, I love it. And I mean, I too am a member and I adore being in there. And there's been so many benefits that I too have seen. But let's rewind a little bit about community, because I think people get confused about community, about what its role is, what its purpose is, But in my opinion, I believe that without community, eventually businesses will start to crack. Because as you just mentioned a minute ago, businesses are like quite lonely, and our partners typically don't understand it. Our friends don't typically understand it. Old coworkers don't understand it. And so, community, I believe, is like ride or die, eventually it will come to that point. And I know you love community just as much as I do, but I'm curious to know, what does community mean to you in business, and why was it so important for you to start bringing, collectively women from around the world together?
Yes. So community, I think the best way to describe it is to know the difference between an audience, or like marketing, and community. So when you're when you're doing marketing, it's often like, I am putting something out there to the world. I'm not necessarily engaging and bringing people together and having a discussion. I'm just saying something, I'm broadcasting something to the world, and they might be able to like or comment on that, but that's it. Community is where you're bringing people together based on shared interests or views or values, and you're giving them space to actually connect with one another, engage, ask questions, share their thoughts and experiences, and really utilize some kind of value that you're providing. So with OneRoof, we're actually what I would call community as a service. So like SaaS, software as a service, we are a CAS business, community as a service. So community is actually what we're selling in a way, or the value that we're providing. So by signing up to OneRoof, you're signing up to a membership where we're saying, you are a woman building a business. We're connecting you with other women building businesses, and we're going to provide you with all this value: events, masterclasses, resources, coaching calls, ways to connect with other members. And so there's all of this kind of engagement and interaction going on between members. And that is really what a community is. The reason why community is so important is that these days I would really, confidently say marketing is not enough for your business. It's not enough to put posts out on social media or do an ad without engaging with your members and customers and community and asking them for feedback, connecting them to one another. You will need to have a community strategy that is different to a marketing strategy. And that actually creates more brand loyalty, more, customer stickiness, more, helps with retention, helps with, testimonials and advocates and people going out there saying, I love this brand. I love this movement. I want to buy from them. I want everybody else to buy from them. So it's much more than just a marketing strategy.
People out there might be like, for example, I love community. It's one of my favorite things in the world, but not everyone loves community. And I think they don't love community necessarily because they don't understand how to get started with community. Like, networking is similar, but it's not necessarily the same, right? There's similarities. So I'm curious to, like, if someone was like, I want to, obviously they can be part of One Roof 100%, but if they're like, I would like to also start infusing a community more sense into my business. Like, where do they start? Like, what have you done? Because people just don't go to One Roof and just buy. They normally have found you in other ways. So what have you done to really start that community feel even before someone converts as a buyer?
Yeah, I think great question. So there's some really kind of low touch, cost effective ways of starting, which we definitely did this way. Firstly, it would be creating a space where people who like what you're doing or are interested in what you're doing can actually be and connect and hear more about it. So whether that's just like a simple Facebook group or utilizing another platform where you can bring people together, and let's say it's a free Facebook group, you can be talking about the movement that you're building, sharing resources, asking others. So we've got a closed member Facebook group where our members can ask questions, introduce themselves, ask for feedback, ask for help with something. So that's building really strong community, and we facilitate that. And, our team watches what people post and make sure that it's in line with guidelines and, comment and connect people when we see that somebody should be connected on that particular post. Another thing you can do is events. And you can also, like, events don't have to be this really flashy, expensive, high ticket thing. It can be low touch. It can be virtual. It can be in person. It can be meetups. It can be focus groups where you're bringing people together who are interested in your product or service, asking them questions, bringing them into the journey of what you're doing, getting feedback from them, and then helping them to really love your brand and what you stand for.
Mm.
And I guess beyond that, there is probably an element of, if you as the founder, your personal brand, for you to be talking about what you're doing a lot on social media. And I've done a lot of that over the years, always said yes to speaking opportunities, post on LinkedIn, post on socials, always talking about the mission of One Roof, what we stand for, why I started the business, who I am, like really bringing yourself and the mission and the why and the purpose into it. And that's something that people buy into. And then you need platforms to allow people to connect once they're buying into what you're talking about.
I love it. And like you said, there's so many different ways, but I do feel like in a world where we are disconnected, people are loving that connection piece, like events, and once you meet someone in person, it's very hard to not remember them, right? They might not be the forefront of your mind, but you're like, oh yeah, I met you at the event, or oh yeah, and there's this, I don't know, there's this connectiveness that you have a full body response almost when you go to these live events, So if you can create a really warm, nurturing live event, even with just a handful of people, why wouldn't people want to continue that feeling of goodness, right? And I think that's what you guys have done so well, is you've always treated everyone, regardless if they're paying or not, just as good humans. You make them feel seen, you make them feel heard, and then obviously they get all the extra bonuses, of goodness when they're in the community. But what I also love is that because you've done such a good job of facilitating and just treating people like humans from the get-go, that once they're in One Roof, and I'm in there too, and I'm a huge advocate for it, is you also do this really great thing. It's a beautiful approach that I've seen you do, where you use your community to then engage buyers at the same time to scale your business. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that looks like and why it's worked so well?
Sorry, Angela, can you just repeat that question again?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that you do so beautiful, and I think it's a great approach, is that you work like once the community's in there, they know how much value you've added. You've also been able to leverage your community to then be able to scale One Roof. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we really engage with our members in the kind of building and iteration of One Roof, and that's been kind of all the way through. So even when we started out as a co-working business, and there were times when I wasn't quite sure what to do next, and we had investors and a board and really hard decisions to make. And I often would bring members together in a room and kind of tell them this is what's going on, and kind of run focus groups and ask them for advice and feedback and what have you liked and what could we do better. So we really engage them at every kind of step of the way, and every time we're considering a change or a new program or offering. One of the key things that we do is we have an ambassador program. And so this has allowed us to, we're a virtual membership and a virtual community, but we know that in person is important. Like Angela said before, when you meet someone in person, there's a real magic there, like networking and connecting in person, but we can't be everywhere. And so we've got ambassadors, we've got about 35, and they run at least four meetups a year in their local area. And some of them are in cities and some are quite regional and even rural areas. And, there might be 4 people at a meetup, there might be 45 people at a meetup. And that's been an amazing way for us to keep a really strong community feel and connection, led by our members and ambassadors, supported by us. So we run regular training and catch-up calls with our ambassadors to make sure that they are, well supported. And then members feel like they get localized experiences and being able to catch up with fellow One Roof members in a local area without our team even actually having to be there. So that's been huge for us. Another thing is we just launched a new offering called Inner Circle, which is effectively masterminds or mastermind groups for women founders with established businesses. And this has come out of feedback that we're getting from members about the membership. They love it, but as we grow, it's like they're all, the analogy is they're all under one roof, they're all in one home, but they want to find the right room to go in. And that room, they want to have fellow business owners at a similar stage of business to them. And so Inner Circle has been born out of constant feedback we get from members, and we've literally used members to design the program with us.
Dude, it's so awesome. And that's what I love is like, again, if you lead with love, I always say this to people, and if you lead with, love, kindness, etc., it will be able to come back to you. And I've seen the ambassadors, they're like excited, they're willing to share, they love being part of it, and that's where, again, when you cultivate community, so many other good things can come from that. And so I love it. Now, one final question before we start to wrap up is, I know your team also really infuses the notion of community in there. And so what do you feel have been the aspects about your team that have brought to this notion of community?
Yeah, I think when you're thinking about building community, especially if you're a community as a service like us, but even if you're selling a product or something else and you want to build community, I think it's very hard to do if you don't have at least one person dedicated to facilitating community. You can't just expect people to get along and, abide by the guidelines and kind of just go and let it grow and kind of not be there to hold space for people. So we've found from the very beginning that having a team dedicated to the community building of the business has been crucial. And, Frances Go is our head of community. She's unbelievable. And she's really been there. I brought her on 3 years ago when we went from co-working to digital, and she really led that digital transformation. And she's just got such an eye to detail around what does the community need. And everything we do, she stops and she goes, is this good for the community? Is this what the community wants? And then she might go and ask some people before we actually make that decision. And then she'll put, a manual together and guidelines around it. And she'll talk to members. And if members are upset about something or they don't agree with it, she'll go back and have those conversations with them. So she's very good at holding space, at helping people to feel welcome and safe and comfortable. everybody always describes us as being very warm and nurturing and generous with our time and making introductions and kind of going that extra mile. And so we when we hire people, and we've got Abby now as well, our community lead, and Abby is just phenomenal, and she runs her own membership and community as well, who's got that same ability and way to make people feel comfortable, connect people, see opportunities for introductions, help people to navigate the membership and get the most out of it. And I think it's like, some people need to there needs to be a bit of a knack for it, but at the same time, you can really train people in that community, like really seeing community and the importance of it and how to create space for people to feel that kind of community. So I think, your people are crucial to how you build your community.
Yeah, I think it's the people, the buyers are crucial, but team too. Like I'm very big about community, but I couldn't do it alone because I can't be everywhere at once time, right? So it's like team inside of our own paid memberships, like they've got to be in, they don't have to, but they want to be in there answering questions, making sure that people have what they need, because without it, things would fall down and people would feel disconnected. And so your team too just does such a beautiful job at making sure that the community again is feel seen, feel heard, that their needs are being, but they also are very quiet observers, they're watching, like you said, what questions are popping up, and all of these things is what makes a great community. So
Angela, I just wanted to add one more thing, that we, with our ambassadors, we actually sent all of them a book called The Art of Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really good book that helps people to think about when you're hosting and gathering and bringing people together, how you can be the best host. And I think things like that are really important because you're just giving people more resources and education and tools on how to be a good host, community builder, facilitator. And it comes naturally to people, but you can always be better at it. And so, I highly recommend that book for people thinking about, being a good community builder and gatherer and bringing people together.
Oh, no, thanks so much for that suggestion. I think it's always good. A good book is always, and again, being able to learn. And like you said, there's some of it are really natural at it and all others are not, but also all of us have an ability to learn and do better. Last year I did 120 partnerships and I've learned so much, but I've got so much more to learn, and so community is so key, I think, for where we're going in the world, more than ever before. I was reading this documentary or watching this documentary on Netflix about the 5 blue zones around the world, which are the 5 predominantly major areas where most people live to be over 100. And one of the things they said in that documentary was that by like 2030, which we're not far off, they reckon the number one cause of death is going to be loneliness. And it's going to be very hard to measure, but they're saying the more people that they survey, and they talk about like, how often do you go out? How often do you connect with people? How often do you do this? People are saying less and less. It's their phone, it's alcohol, it's food, it's pornography, it's you insert whatever the addiction is. And so loneliness is going to kill more people than ever. And this is why I think from a business owner, we need this community. So this has been awesome, not only to hear about One Roof and how people can benefit from One Roof, but also how others could potentially be looking at building their own communities within their business and things to look for, like, team, speaking with their clients, etc. So for listeners wanting to connect with you, where can they find you?
So you can find us. Our website is weareoneroof.com. Our socials are weareoneroof, and you can DM us anytime, and then you can email me at cherie@weareoneroof.com.
Good, I love it. And we'll make sure to have all of these links inside of the show notes over at angelahenderson.com.au. But one final question, my friend, looking back on your business journey, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you first started out in business?
I wish I knew that. I wish I just wasn't so hard on myself early on. I think early on, I just was in a rush. I was in a rush to get there, wherever there was, to be or whatever success means. And I think over the years and, especially having kids and then kind of having this rude awakening that, I can't be hustling 150% with kids and life and other things going on. And so I now see it as a long game, and I'm comfortable with that. And I'm not rushing for success or for whatever that kind of shiny object is right now. I'm really focused on enjoying the journey and enjoying all the parts of it and not thinking about that end game. And because so often when I talk to founders who have achieved kind of, the success that whatever would society says is success, of like selling their business or being acquired or, something like that, or making lots of money. They're like, that part wasn't the fun part. Like, that's not the part we look back on and go, yes, we did that. It's the whole journey. Like, it's building the team and the product and the service and being out there and hustling. And it's, those days when you're just hustling and giving things a go that are the most exciting. And so I'm really just trying to be present to that and just enjoy the journey rather than focusing on the end game.
And I love the enjoy the journey, because the reality of it is that we never, like, I'll give an example. People often say like, oh, I just wish my to-do list, do you know what I mean? I didn't have a to-do list. I was like, but do you really wish that? Like, do you honestly really wish that? Or is it just like you wish it wasn't maybe so overwhelming? But the way I look at it is I love my to-do list. I freaking embrace the to-do list, because I'm like, if I've got the to-do list, I'm still here. I'm still shining. I'm still making impact. I'm still making, helping people, right? I'm still living the life that I want. And I think sometimes we forget what we actually want, and we wish away things and then it's too late, So enjoy the journey is just such a beautiful way to end the podcast. So thank you so much today, my friend, for being here. I'm super excited to have you on and share One Roof with everyone. Again, I'm a member. I adore it over there. I met some great connections over there. I also know One Roof is sponsoring our 3-day Women in Business conference. So we're excited to have you on board there too. This, the value you give to community and just your energy, again, it doesn't go unnoticed, my friend. So I hope you have a beautiful day.
Thanks, Angela.
And for the rest of you, my friend, you too have a great day, no matter where you are in the world. And I look forward to you joining us again for another awesome episode of the Angela Henderson Online Business Show. Thanks for listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, www.angelahenderson.com.au.